what we need to look at is regeneration, not just in Tibshelf, but I mean, I'm keen to regenerate all through district. You know, we have hot spots here, there and everywhere. I've come back here today. It's first time for, I think, nearly a year. And just to look at, you know, aspect today is completely different to where a few years ago. And, you know, you look at these where flats are compared to that, and it sort of brings it down. So, you know, this emphasises the point that we need to regenerate in Tibshelf and elsewhere in district.
For a long time now, we've been hoping to get a new primary school because our infant and junior schools are on separate sites of the village. The old senior school has now been knocked down. So what we want to see is a holistic design for this whole area, incorporating some new social housing, as Steve says, but also the brand new school, and improve the layout of the road, perhaps provide some further land for the health centre in the village. So it's looking at it as a wider design scheme for the whole village to improve the village. And we've also got some regeneration work going on the high street. There's new businesses coming up, and it will improve the village centre altogether.
And that leads me nicely to you, Ray, in terms of it's just another step in the process of improving the whole area, as Deborah says, that it's not just these flats, it's part of a bigger project that's only going to be good for Tibshelf.
Exactly. Tibshelf has been wanting money spending on it for a long, long while. As Deborah rightly said, across the road, different businesses that's come into the area. And we want to make it a better place for people to say, you know, I'm proud to live in Tibshelf. And that's what it's really all about. We need the schools for the children. We need, you know, movement. You can't just stand still, because if you stand still, you go backwards. So, you know, I'm looking forward to see what we do end up with on here, you know.
Absolutely. That message, Steve, is something that we've spoken about numerous times of moving forward, constantly looking ahead. But it's important to stress that these flats, I know there's some debate over what to do with them, but the general feeling is they're probably not fit for purpose.
Well, they're not fit, and they need to come down. Whether they come down tomorrow or next week or week after remains to be seen. But, you know, we can't stand still. I mean, you know, 2 councillors for area, they want to improve this area, and we need growth as a district. And this is one element that we need to concentrate on. I mean, they've been empty now for a few years, well, partially empty for a few years. They've caused no end of antisocial problems in Tibshelf. So they need to be put right, and this is one way of putting it right. If we get more social housing, which we desperately need, that's got to be a benefit. I mean, Deborah and Ray talk about education, and that's the future anyway. I mean, you've got to work closely with County Council to do that. So, you know, we collaborate with County Council and everybody else. So, yeah, it's an opportunity. We can't afford to miss it, but we can't afford to stand still.
Deborah, what happens next then? Where are we at this current moment?
We're awaiting the decision from the County Council as to whether the new school will be built and when it will be built. Once we know that, then we can start and make our plans and design exactly what's going to come on this area. If sadly, very, very sadly, County decide they ultimately can't build the school, then we will design a scheme of social housing on this area that's appropriate for this location.
And it doesn't matter what we do, when you look at it yourself, Michael, the state of what this is in, anything's going to look better if it's only just grassed over. So, you know, we're wholeheartedly behind Steve with what he wants to do with Bolsover district, certainly here in Tibshelf. Well, Deborah and I are.
The main thing is that we can't stand still. We've got to let this village develop and improve and move with the times, because if we don't do that, it will stagnate.